start with dealing with fraction, decimal, percent conversions. To turn a fraction to a decimal, all you have to do is get a common denominator for the decimal. You need tenths or hundredths. So if you can get a fraction over 10 or a fraction over 100, it'll be a decimal. So here, if we have the fraction 3/5, what we have to do is turn 3/5. We need it either over 10 or over 100. So to get to the 10, 5 times 2 is 10. So the same thing, 3 times 2 is 6. So that's 6 tenths. So if it's tenths, it's one place value. It's 0.6. You can put a 0 in front of it, 0.6. Now if you want to use it to the hundredths, remember this is per cent. Cent is 100. That's per cent, which you can use it up here on the percent symbol. So 10 to 100 is times 10. So do the same thing on the top. 6 times 10 is 60. So it's 60%. So your percent is 60%. So if your decimal is over, can be written as a tenth or a hundredth, and if you can turn it over 100th, it's percent, because percent equals percent. That's our trick to get that. If you have a decimal and you want to change it to a fraction, if you've got 0.67 is your decimal, tenths, hundredths, so it's 67 hundredths. And if you can simplify it, you can. That's hundredths, so this would be over 100, so percent, so it's 67%. It's percent. There are some that you are going to have to divide, such as something like 1/3. It's 1 divided by 3. You put the decimal on it, 0. 3 goes into 1 0 times. Keep the decimal lined up. 3 goes into 10 3 times. Minus 9, you get a 1. Add another 0. You see, we're going to keep repeating. That's why we put a repetent bar, because it repeats. So 1/3 is approximately 0.3 with repetent bar, which means it goes 0.333. And so this is the part you're going to use to convert it to 33%. These are benchmarks. 1/3 is 0.33 or 33%. 2/3, you would end up rounding, it would be twice that, so it's 0.66, which rounds to 67%. Anything else like 3/8, you would have to go ahead and divide. 3 divided by 8. Next year, you may have a calculator do this. Either not, either way, the 3 goes on the outside, you put the decimal, and you divide to get it in there. The other shortcut to help us to remember is if we have 47% and we want to change that to a decimal. Some people, they just say, well, we know if it is decimal and percent. If we've got a percent, we move it 2 places over, because that's the percent's 100ths, it's 2. We move it 2 there, put a decimal there, get rid of the percent, so it's 0.47. Or same thing if you're given a 23, 0.23 decimal percent, you're going to go ahead and move it 2 places and put a percent on it, get rid of the decimal. The tricky part is that when it's 1.05, it's the same thing. It is still decimal and percent. So you move it 2 places over because it moves 2 places over. So 1.05 is 105%.